Humphrey continues. I remember writing a review of a thin little volume I had begun carelessly when she interrupted me. You, she cried. You are. She was now staring at me in wide-eyed wonder. I nodded my identity in turn. Humphrey Van Weyden, she concluded, and then added with a sigh of relief, and unaware that she had glanced that relief at Wolf Larsen. I'm so glad. I remember the review, she went on hastily, becoming aware of the awkwardness of her remark. That too flattering review. Not at all, I declared valiantly. It's an interesting use of word valiant. That usually refers to valor, but it's as if he's being like a hero. Not at all, I denied valiantly. You impeach my sober judgment and make my canons of little worth. Besides, all my brother critics were with me. Didn't Lang include your kiss endured among the 4 supreme sonnets by women in the English language? But you called me the American Mrs. Meynell. Was it not true? I demanded. No, not that, she answered. I was hurt. We can measure the unknown only by the known, I replied in my finest academic manner. As a critic, I was compelled to place you. You have now become a yardstick yourself. 7 of your thin little volumes are on my shelves, and there are 2 thicker volumes, the essays, which, you'll pardon my saying, and I know not which is flattered more, fully equal your verse. The time is not far distant when some unknown will arise in England, and the critics will name her the English Maud Brewster. You are very kind, I am sure, she murmured, and the very conventionality of her tones and words, with the host of associations it aroused of the old life on the other side of the world, gave me a quick thrill, which rich with remembrance, but stinging sharp with homesickness. And you are Maud Brewster, I said solemnly, gazing at her. And you are Humphrey Van Weyden, she said, gazing back at me with equal solemnity and awe. How unusual! I don't understand. We surely are not to expect some wildly romantic sea story from your sober pen. No, I am not gathering material, I assure you. I have neither aptitude nor inclination for fiction. Tell me, why have you always buried yourself in California? She next asked. It has not been kind of you. We of the East have seen so very little of you, too little indeed, of the Dean of American Letters, the second. I bowed to and disclaimed the compliment. I nearly met you once in Philadelphia, some Browning affair or other. You were to lecture, you know. My train was 4 hours late. And then we quite forgot where we were, leaving Wolf Larsen stranded and silent in the middle of our flood of gossip. The hunters left the table and went on deck while we still talked. Wolf Larsen alone remained. Suddenly I became aware of him, leaning back from the table and listening curiously to our alien speech of a world he did not know. I broke off short in the middle of a sentence. The present, with all its perils and anxiety, rushed upon me with stunning force. It smote Miss Brewster likewise, a vague and nameless terror rushing into her eyes as she regarded Wolf Larsen. She rose to his feet and laughed awkwardly. The sound of it was metallic. Oh, don't mind me, he said, with a self-deprecatory wave of his hand. I don't count. Go on, I pray you. But the gates of speech were closed, and we too rose from the table and laughed awkwardly. And that's chapter 20 of The Sea Wolf, and the lecture on chapter 20 is coming right now.